We're going to look at Ash Limited now from the point of view of dividends. And what you do there is you have to calculate the dividend per share, the dividend yield, and the dividend cover, and compare each with last year's figure. And one of the things we'll just check here now is how you calculate the dividend cover, as you're not given it direct. So you see there's earnings per share of 30 cents and dividends per share of 12 cents, and that's going to give you a dividend cover of 2.5 times. So we have then for last year, we've got the dividend per share of 12 cents, the dividend yield of 6.32%, and as you saw there, the dividend cover of 2.5 times. We calculate then the dividend per ordinary share for this year, and we'll note a dividend of 45,000. That comprises both preference and ordinary. Checking out the balance sheet, we'll see that we have 7% preference shares on 150,000, so that the preference dividend would be 10,500, leaving 34,500 for the ordinary shareholders. Spreading that out over the 350,000 ordinary shares will give us a dividend per share of 9.857 cents or 9.86 cents. So what have we got to say about that then? The dividend per share is 9.86 cents, and it's down on last year's 12 cents. Expressing this year's dividend as a percentage of the market price gives us a dividend yield of 6.16%, and that's slightly down on last year's 6.32%. But of course, the important thing is that at 6.16%, it's much higher than the return on risk-free investment, currently at under 1%. Our dividend cover, though, is way down from last year's 2.5 times, and it's gone all the way down to barely over 1.14 times. So you'd have to say that the company is giving out too much of their profits by way of dividend. And that's the only way that they're maintaining the relatively high dividend yield. So we'd have to say that in relation to dividend, although it's a good dividend yield, the dividend cover is much too low, and in addition, the shareholders would be very concerned about the poor trend in the dividend cover.